Okay, Learning Objective 3 covers a variety of topics, and we're going to begin with how we make decisions about deciding whether to drop a particular product, division, or line. And then we'll come back and take a look at determining what our product mix should be if we are a manufacturer, or our sales mix if we are a merchandising organization. So how do we decide which products we should sell? Or we should produce and sell. We have to take into consideration whether we have adequate capacity. And what we simply mean by capacity is, do I have enough machine hours or man hours to manufacture the products that I need to produce? And so we only want to manufacture those that are generating a significant contribution or profit margin, and we want to analyze those that aren't as profitable as we desire them to be and decide whether we should continue with that product or not. So yes, there are some situations where we have a product that is not as profitable as it should be, but it would do more harm to discontinue that product than it would be to just continue with our lower profit levels. So what things are we going to look at? First of all, what's our contribution margin? We would rather have a product, obviously, that is generating a positive contribution margin, sales less variable cost. Okay, then we also want to look at fixed cost. If we were to discontinue our product line, would the fixed cost tied to that product continue to exist even if we got rid of this particular segment? Now, there may be some direct fixed costs that could be avoided that are tied directly to our segment. There could be other unavoidable fixed costs that will remain regardless of whether we continue our segment or discontinue it. We also have to think about what happens to our product, how it impacts sales of other items. If we're manufacturing dining room tables and our chairs are not as profitable as our tables, it would not be very wise to just stop manufacturing chairs and only sell tables, because one product complements the other. Also, we would want to look at what we would do with our freed manufacturing space. Capacity, if I have freed up machines, or I have freed up man hours that can now be focused on products that generate higher contribution margins, that would be a wise idea. But it is certainly something to consider if we are freeing up space or machine hours or time that will just remain idle. So we've got an example of our Smart Touch learning system, and let's say our standard tablets, we manufacture standard and premium, and let's say our standard tablets are generating $236,000 of profit, but our premium tablets are generating a $5,000 loss. It's not just as easy as it looks. Premium tablets don't generate a profit. We need to get rid of them. There are other quantitative and qualitative factors we need to take into consideration. And so one of the things that we're going to look at in this particular situation is, what about these fixed costs? Are there any of these fixed costs that would continue if we decided to get rid of this out of the premium tablet line? Also, as we said, we want to take into consideration, if I stop manufacturing the premium tablets, am I going to lose some of my market because now my customers don't have a choice? They don't have a comparison of standard to premium to see the difference in the value and the cost. So we have to take these things into consideration. So since our fixed cost in the short term, okay, and remember, these are short-term decisions that we're making. If I'm out of capacity, I'm out of machine hours, I'm out of direct labor, then what I really need are new machines, new labor, an additional shift. Okay, but until we can generate a significant return on investment to do that, I have to make wise decisions for the short term. Okay, so when we're making this decision about fixed costs, we want to consider those that are relevant. And if the cost will continue to exist when we discontinue the premium tablets, then those are not relevant costs because they do not change as a result of the two alternatives. But if there are some direct fixed costs that can be avoided if we discontinue the product line, those fixed costs are relevant. So let's see an example of each one of those. What happens if the fixed cost will continue to exist and not change as a result of dropping the premium tablet line? So the illustration that they've given us is we decrease our revenue, we decrease our variable cost, but we're decreasing revenues of $230,000 more than we are reducing our costs. So I end up losing $90,000 of operating income if I discontinue this segment. Let's go back to their financial statement so you can actually see that happen. Remember, the $90,000 is their contribution margin. So if our fixed costs do not change, these $95,000 will not go away. If I discontinue the premium tablet segment, I still have to cover $95,000 in fixed cost. So at this point, even though the premium tablets generate a loss, they do generate $90,000 of contribution margin that can cover $95,000, part of the $95,000 of my unavoidable fixed cost. So would you rather lose $5,000 by continuing to generate the premium tablets, or $90,000 if you discontinue this segment? Okay, quantitatively, there's no other answer here. Even though it's not generating as much profit as we like, it is still covering a very large portion of those fixed costs. Now, what about our second scenario? What if the fixed costs do change? For some reason, let's say out of our $95,000 in fixed cost, we could avoid $92,000 of those. Let's say that $92,000 are directly traceable to the premium tablets. These costs would go away if I discontinued that segment. These are considered traceable fixed cost, and we have $3,000 of unavoidable fixed cost left. So in this case, I've reduced my revenues by $230,000 by discontinuing the segment. I decreased my expenses by $232,000, so I am saving more in expenses than I am in reducing my sales. So I actually can save $2,000 in operating income by discontinuing the premium tablet line if I can minimize some of these fixed costs. But we also have to take into consideration those qualitative factors. If I only sell standard tablets and not premium, do I lose some of my customer base? Are they complementary products? Okay, so like I said, would dropping it hurt other product sales? And when I drop the premium tablets, am I going to free up some capacity? And if so, what can I do with that? Do I have a different product that I could move into process instead? Like I said, these are short-term decisions that we are considering, and we have to take into consideration every cost that's going to be impacted by it. And if this is only short term, is there at some point when we would bring the premium tablet back with some change added to it? Okay, so our general rule for dropping an unprofitable segment is if the revenues that we are getting rid of exceed the total cost or savings, then we should not drop this course. On the other hand, if we can save more in costs than we can decrease revenue, then we should consider dropping an unprofitable segment. So if you'd like to take a note there, we're going to come back and look at a product mix and a sales mix decision that also carries some of the same factors that we've considered here.